Listen up family, welcome back to another live edition of The Frequency, and if you clicked on this, buckle in, because what just leaked out of 50 Cent's mouth is the kind of confession that shakes the entire foundation of hip-hop. I'm telling you right now, before I go one word further, tap that thumbs up and lock in that subscribe button, because tonight we are dragging one of the loudest untold truths in the game straight out into daylight, and half the internet is not ready for what Curtis Jackson just admitted about Lil Wayne, Drake, and the reason the throne finally cracked. This is not another recycled think piece, this is not another lazy comparison video, this is a full-blown autopsy on the greatest handoff in modern rap, and 50 Cent, hip-hop titan, mogul, TV architect, streaming rebel, tequila boss, business assassin, cultural provocateur, he just said the quiet part out loud, and once you hear it, you will not be able to unhear it. So sit tight, because Curtis Jackson just detonated a truth bomb that explains, once and for all, why Lil Wayne is no longer the untouchable god of the booth, and why Drake, Aubrey Graham himself, has hijacked the entire era, and the numbers, the streams, the platinum plaques, the radio blocks, the sold-out arenas, they all confirm exactly what 50 Cent is saying. Rewind the clock for a second, family, because you cannot understand this moment without remembering the throne it came from. There was a stretch, somewhere between the summer of 2007 and the last flicker of 2012, when Lil Wayne was untouchable. Weezy F, baby, the self-proclaimed best rapper alive, was the human oxygen of hip-hop. Every mixtape landed like a meteor. Every guest verse turned unknown records into radio anthems. Every DJ drama tape, every dedication drop, every Carter installment, Lil Wayne was rewriting what a rap superstar could be. If a producer, a label, a rookie MC, a pop icon, a rock band, anybody in the entire music ecosystem wanted a shot of adrenaline injected into their record, they whispered one name, Lil Wayne. You picking this up? That is what Weezy meant to the culture. That is the throne we are talking about. And then, quietly, subtly, almost invisibly, the tide turned. Around 2013, around 2014, the algorithm of the culture shifted. A skinny kid from Toronto, a former teen actor, a moody R&B curveball, an outsider that traditional purists spent years trying to reject, that skinny kid rewrote every rule Lil Wayne had ever written. Drake started charting differently. Drake started streaming differently. Drake started outlasting every trend, every wave, every so-called rap savior that tried to unseat him. And now, in this current era, there is nobody in his weight class. Drake is the guy. Drake is not up for debate. Drake is the atmosphere hip-hop breathes right now, and even his critics know it, even the ones grinding their teeth at every certified lover boy stream count, even the ones who lost the biggest rap battle of the decade, even the ones publicly praying for his fall, they all know Drake is currently sitting in a chair Lil Wayne used to occupy. And that transition is not just a talking point anymore. It is the elephant in the entire room. And 50 Cent, God bless his savage honesty, just walked up to that elephant and slapped it across the face on live camera. Now, roll the clip in your mind, because this is the moment that lit the internet on fire. 50 Cent, sitting there in his usual calm, unbothered, chess master posture, was asked about Drake's unprecedented run. And Curtis Jackson did what Curtis Jackson always does, he answered honestly, brutally, and with the kind of businessman's precision that makes rappers uncomfortable. He said the culture is broken. He said we are living in an era that is finding a whole new way to do things. He said Drake is a hybrid, a rapper and an R&B singer sharing the same body, and that is why Drake's run has outlasted every era before it. He said it is easier to stay longer as a singer than as a pure rapper. And when 50 Cent said that, family, he was not just talking about Drake. He was quietly saying goodbye to the golden age Lil Wayne used to rule. He was quietly explaining why Weezy, one of the most gifted lyricists to ever pick up a pen, is no longer the first call. He was quietly narrating the end of an era without ever using the words, the end. That's the drop right there. That is the unfiltered truth Curtis Jackson just laid on the table. And before we go any deeper, I need y'all to sit with the weight of what 50 Cent just did. Because it takes a specific kind of legend to speak this openly about another legend without disrespecting either one. Curtis Jackson did not attack Lil Wayne. Curtis Jackson did not clown Weezy. Curtis Jackson did not join the disrespect parade. What 50 Cent did was way scarier. He calmly, publicly, on the record, admitted that the era Lil Wayne dominated is functionally over. And when a certified hip-hop kingmaker like 50 Cent puts a period on an era, the entire industry hears it. Radio hears it. Streaming platforms hear it. Playlist curators hear it. A&R rooms hear it. Every young rapper trying to figure out how to survive the next 10 years is hearing 50 Cent say the exact same thing, evolve into the hybrid model, or get archived. That is a 10,000-word memo delivered inside a 60-second soundbite. And Drake is walking, breathing, platinum-selling proof of concept. Because listen, and this is where it gets uncomfortable for the Wayne loyalists, myself included, the game itself has evolved into a place that no longer rewards what Lil Wayne is best at. Lil Wayne is a pure lyricist. Lil Wayne is a punchline surgeon. Lil Wayne is a metaphor factory. Weezy was raised on the mixtape circuit where you had to bar your way to the top, where you had to slaughter beats, where you had to prove you were the greatest with 16 relentless lines. But the culture around Lil Wayne mutated. Streaming rewards mood. Streaming rewards melody. Streaming rewards vibe over verse. Streaming rewards the exact hybrid model Drake stumbled into and then perfected. That is not a small shift, family. That is a tectonic rearrangement of the entire scoreboard. And Curtis Jackson, business genius that he is, saw the whole thing from 100 miles away. You catching my drift? That is why Lil Wayne moved down a notch. Not because Weezy lost his pen. Not because Lil Wayne stopped being brilliant. But because the sport itself changed the rulebook, and Drake happened to be born with the exact toolkit the new rulebook demanded. Now let me sit with Lil Wayne for a second, because I refuse to let anybody twist this into disrespect. Lil Wayne is going to be 44 this year, and I want everybody in this comments section to sit with that. 44. Weezy has been in the industry professionally since he was a literal child. Lil Wayne signed to Cash Money as a preteen. Lil Wayne was going platinum before some of you were even old enough to load a CD player. Lil Wayne outlasted the Hot Boys era, outlasted the Cash Money civil wars, outlasted the Birdman drama, outlasted the label lawsuits, outlasted the seizures, outlasted the addiction commentary, outlasted 100 rappers who swore they would bury him. And after all of that, Weezy is still here, still dropping, still relevant enough that the Carter 6 sparked a global conversation the moment it landed. Yes, some of the beat selection was questionable. Yes, some of us wanted a stronger Cash Money production team behind him. Yes, Lil Wayne needs Manny fresh energy in the room again. But the pen? The bars? The Weezy DNA? Still intact. Still elite. Still untouchable in isolation. But here is the part that hurts. Here is the part one have been sitting with for weeks. Whenever any legend in this culture starts to age, the disrespect turns radioactive. All of a sudden, everybody with a keyboard becomes a hip-hop analyst. All of a sudden, everybody forgets the discography. All of a sudden, the very same fans who camped outside Best Buy for a Carter 3 midnight release start writing eulogies for a career that is still very much breathing. It happens to every legend. It happened to Jay-Z. It happened to Nas. It happened to Snoop. It happened to Ice Cube. It happened to Redman, to Method Man, to LL Cool J, to Rakim, to KRS-One. Aging in hip-hop is treated like a crime, and it should not be, because every single one of those artists paved the road these new stars are now speeding down. Roll the clip on that thought for a second. Because when Curtis Jackson said the culture is broken, he was not just talking about Drake and Lil Wayne. He was talking about the way we treat our elders. He was talking about the way we discard our icons. He was talking about the way we act like a rapper's 44th birthday is some kind of expiration date. That is broken. That is genuinely broken. And 50 Cent, at 50 years old himself, understands that pain firsthand. Now, family, let's swing this pendulum back the other way, because we cannot pretend Drake did not earn every inch of this throne he is sitting on. Drake is a monster of a business. Drake is a monster of a brand. Drake is the melody merchant and the mic assassin in one body, and that fusion is exactly why he cannot be replaced. Drake gives you the club record. Drake gives you the bedroom slow burner. Drake gives you the introspective 3 a.m. journal entry. Drake gives you the Toronto slang. Drake gives you the Memphis bounce. Drake gives you the Jamaican patois interlude. Drake gives you the UK drill collaboration. Drake gives you the Afrobeats crossover. Drake is not one artist. Drake is a genre-fluid superorganism, and that is exactly what 50 Cent was pointing at when he called Drake a hybrid. Aubrey Graham cracked a code Lil Wayne never had to crack, because Lil Wayne came up in an era where you did not need to be everything. In Weezy's prime, you could just be the best rapper in the world and that alone was enough. Drake came up in an era where best rapper was already a saturated category, so Drake did what every innovator does, he refused to play by the old scoreboard and he invented a new one. Drake fused rap and R&B so seamlessly that radio programmers stopped knowing where to file his records. Drake made the melody carry the bars. Drake made the ad-lib feel like a hook. Drake made the album rollout feel like an event. And because of that, Drake has aged inside the culture differently than Lil Wayne ever could, because Drake's core skill set is the exact skill set that streaming, TikTok, playlists, and short-form loops all reward. That is why Drake's run is unprecedented. That is why Drake keeps outlasting every predicted downfall. That is why every rap battle, every leaked accusation, every viral diss, every court filing, every Instagram callout has failed to knock Drake off the mountain. Because Drake is not just fighting for a spot in rap. Drake is embedded into pop, R&B, dancehall, drill, Afrobeats, and every genre-adjacent bloodstream at once. You cannot beat somebody who is running 6 lanes while everybody else is running 1. The ladies grew up on the R&B side of Drake. The fellas grew up on the rap side of Drake. The kids grew up on the meme side of Drake. The parents grew up on the crossover radio side of Drake. Drake covers every demographic, every generation, every mood board, and that, right there, is what 50 Cent was saying without saying it. The math is undefeated. You catching my drift on why the throne shifted? Good. Because now I want to say the part that some of you are going to hate. I am, and always will be, a Lil Wayne loyalist to the bone. Weezy raised my ear for hip-hop. Weezy taught me what a punchline was. Weezy taught me what mixtape culture was. Weezy taught me that a rapper could write like a poet, freestyle like a jazz musician, and dress like a rock star all at the same time. If you grew up during the drought era, if you rewound 10,000 bars until your MP3 player froze, if you memorized the entire Carter II tracklist before you even hit high school, then you already know what Lil Wayne represents. Weezy is not just an artist to my generation. Lil Wayne is a chapter of our lives. So when Curtis Jackson says Drake is holding a position Lil Wayne used to hold, that is not a diss on Weezy. That is a passing of the torch, and Lil Wayne is the one who lit the torch in the first place. Drake even said it himself, over and over, Lil Wayne is the reason. Drake was signed to Young Money. Drake was mentored by Lil Wayne. Drake was rapping over Weezy's blueprint before he ever became the guy 50 Cent is talking about tonight. So if Drake is currently on the throne, Lil Wayne is the architect who built the entire castle. Do not ever forget that. Do not ever let the internet erase that. And here is the twist nobody wants to say out loud. This whole conversation, this whole 50 Cent viral moment, this whole Drake versus Lil Wayne debate, it is not really about Drake or Lil Wayne. It is about all of us. It is about a generation that is realizing our legends are aging. It is about a generation that is realizing the soundtrack of our teenage years is now nostalgia. It is about a generation that is realizing our idols have gray hairs, our heroes have grown children, and our favorite rappers are now closer to 50 than they are to 25. That is the real conversation. That is why Curtis Jackson's words hit so hard. Because 50 Cent was not just talking about Weezy. 50 Cent was talking about himself. 50 Cent was talking about a whole generation of rappers watching the culture race ahead of them. Stay elevated with me for a moment, because this next part is where it gets philosophical. Every era of music does this. Rock and roll did it to jazz. Grunge did it to hair metal. Trap did it to boom bap. Streaming did it to the album. And now, hybrid melody is doing it to pure rap. The rules keep rewriting themselves, and every generation of artists either evolves with the rulebook or gets left in the archive. Drake evolved. Drake mutated. Drake refused to stand still. And that is the single biggest reason Drake is still on top and Lil Wayne is no longer the automatic first call. Meanwhile, 50 Cent is watching all of this from a completely different chair. Curtis Jackson stepped away from the rap release cycle years ago and built an empire in television, film, spirits, boxing promotions, and streaming platforms. 50 Cent is not chasing radio play. 50 Cent is chasing generational wealth. And that is exactly why 50 Cent is the one who can be honest about Drake and Lil Wayne, because 50 Cent has nothing to lose in this conversation. 50 Cent is not competing for the throne anymore. 50 Cent is commentating from the balcony, and every word out of his mouth carries the weight of a man who already saw the game from the top of the mountain. So when 50 Cent says the culture is broken, take that seriously. When 50 Cent says Drake is a hybrid, take that seriously. When 50 Cent says the singer-rapper hybrid has a longer shelf life than the pure lyricist, take that dead serious, because Curtis Jackson has been watching hip-hop cycles rise and fall since he was in Jam Master Jay's basement learning how to structure a verse. 50 Cent is not guessing. 50 Cent is diagnosing. And think about the receipts backing 50 Cent up. Drake has broken more Billboard records than any rapper alive. Drake has more platinum singles than the top 5 combined. Drake has outstreamed the entire Cash Money roster 3 times over. Drake has toured stadiums Lil Wayne never got to walk into. Drake has features on Afrobeats records, Latin trap records, UK drill records, pop crossover records, and country-flavored records at the same damn time. That is not a rapper. That is a globalized cultural franchise wearing rap as a costume when it feels like it. And 50 Cent, the same 50 Cent who once ran that same weight class in the mid-2000s, is the only living voice with the authority to name it out loud without sounding jealous or bitter. Curtis Jackson has been to the mountaintop. Curtis Jackson has been dethroned. Curtis Jackson has rebuilt himself twice over. That is why every word he says about Drake and Lil Wayne carries the weight it does. Because 50 Cent lived every phase of the arc he is describing. And here is a question I want every single one of you to sit with. If Drake keeps this pace for another 5 years, if Aubrey Graham keeps stacking platinum plaques, keeps dominating streaming, keeps out-touring every peer, keeps fusing genres that shouldn't fuse, will Drake pass Lil Wayne on the all-time list? Or is Weezy's catalog so untouchable, so foundational, so genetically baked into hip-hop DNA, that Drake can never actually overtake him no matter how many records he breaks? That, right there, is the real debate. Not who's hot right now. But who owns forever? Who owns the archive? Who owns the DNA? Because, hot right now, is a temporary crown. Forever, is carved into stone. That's the drop right there, family. That is the question 50 Cent low-key just planted in every hip-hop head's brain, whether he meant to or not. Personally, if you put a gun to my head and force me to pick, I am rocking with Lil Wayne every single time. Not because Drake is not incredible. Not because Aubrey Graham has not earned every stripe. Not because Drake's numbers are not staggering. But because Weezy raised the standard Drake had to reach. Because Lil Wayne is closer to Tupac in my personal ranking than to any modern peer. Because when I close my eyes and think about the greatest rap era of my lifetime, I hear a Lil Wayne verse ripping through a car stereo in the middle of the night. And no algorithm, no streaming number, no platinum plaque, and no billionaire hybrid crossover can steal that memory from me. That is the ride-or-die difference between metrics and meaning. Streaming crowns Drake. Memory crowns Lil Wayne. Both are real. Both are earned. But that is just me. That is one man's ranking. And you already know what happens next, because now I want to hear yours. Drop it in the comments. Rank them. Fight for your favorite. Bring your receipts. Bring your discography. Bring your data. Argue with strangers on the internet about who really sits higher on the all-time hip-hop mountain, because that is exactly the kind of conversation Curtis Jackson just detonated on live television, and that is exactly the kind of energy hip-hop needs more of right now. Before you scroll out of here, one more thing. If this breakdown made you rethink anything, if 50 Cent's honesty caught you off guard, if the Drake vs. Lil Wayne debate hit you deeper than you expected, smash that thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you catch the next drop the second it goes live, and share this video with every hip-hop head in your group chat. And if you want the deeper follow-up, where I break down whether Drake could actually pass Jay-Z, whether Kendrick Lamar is quietly building a claim of his own, and whether the Weezy discography is genuinely the most important body of work of the 21st century, that video is already loaded up right on your screen. Tap it. Watch it. Argue in the comments over there too. I love y'all for tuning in. I love this culture. I love these artists. And I love that we can still sit down, disagree, and argue passionately about who owns the throne, because that means hip-hop is still breathing, still evolving, still refusing to die. Drake, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, 3 completely different chapters of the same book, and every single one of them wrote history in their own handwriting. Curtis Jackson said what he said. Aubrey Graham is doing what he's doing. Dwayne Michael Carter Jr. is still Weezy F, baby, and the F is still for whatever the hell he wants it to be. And the rest of us? We just get to sit here, watch the greatest art form on earth keep mutating, keep evolving, keep breaking, and keep rebuilding itself. Family, thank you for locking in with me tonight. Drop your rankings, drop your reactions, drop your favorite Lil Wayne verse, drop your favorite Drake record, drop your favorite 50 Cent moment. Blow up the comments. Make the algorithm nervous. Make YouTube regret ever letting me post this. Until the next drop, stay dangerous, stay loyal to the culture, stay elevated.